What is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. It is Sunday night, June the 17th, and Money in the Bank was an absolute roller coaster of ups and downs. So strap yourself in, because we are here to bring the hammer down on the whole entire event right here and right now on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, Radio, and Podbean, baby. The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Let's do it. Money.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me, as always, is the world's greatest tag team and my two most trusted companions, Thor the Sledgehammer, the wrestling god of thunder, and the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. And of course, my little buddy, the world heavyweight champion of all the microphones across the entire universe, Mr. Blue the Snowball Microphone. Thank you guys for checking out the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's official Money in the Bank. Maybe I'm saying Monday because it felt like a glorified Raw. You know, Money in the Bank tonight was not a bad show if you want to take out the clearly obvious train wrecks that took place tonight that definitely derailed what had the potential of being what the WWE could claim was one of their better produced shows. Maybe better than everything else they've given to us so far in 2018. But 3 strikes and you're out. And we've got about 5 big-time errors that happened tonight. None the least of which is that fucking Roman and Jinder match. And we are going to get to that as well as the entire Money in the Bank card in just a minute. Because, you know, our buddy the Constable, Corbin Burnson, he has asked for some airtime tonight. Apparently, he was very angry at certain moments of Money in the Bank, and I wasn't going to pull him out for pay-per-views, but he really asked me to do this. Apparently, he's got something pretty important to say, so let's get to the guest of the evening coming back to the show once again, our good buddy, the Constable Corbin Burnson. Constable, please grace us with your presence.
Hello, everybody. I'm back here again because I'm pissed off. Wait, why? Why are you so pissed off? I don't think Money in the Bank was that bad, Constable, sir. Well, it actually wasn't, but I have a few issues. First of all, I missed the tag team match. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it. Why didn't you see it?
Well, it's Father's Day today. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. I was coming home from seeing my father, the commissioner, retired police commissioner Bernie Burnson, and I was stuck in traffic. And the WWE wants to put championship matches for the tag team titles on the pre-show.
Well, you know, they do that. It's something that they do. They've done it to the Usos. They've done it to the New Day.
Yeah, they have no respect, and I'm tired of it. If you wanted to, you could have took half the match from Roman and Jinder and half the match from the SmackDown Live Women's Garbage Championship match. I'll let you talk about that one.
Thank you very much.
And you could have added that to the card, let the title match be on the card, and put the undercard guys on the pre-show where they belong. While I'm on things that piss me off, Braun Strowman. I love Braun Strowman. He's so big and handsome. But he don't need a Money in the Bank briefcase. No, he doesn't need it at all. Plus, he loses the advantage because Brock's never there. So what kind of surprise is it? The surprise is on Braun. if Brock comes to work. Awful. Just like they killed Asuka, and just like Corbin Bernstein's hated enemy, the Constable Baron Corbin, punked out by Paige tonight, a disgrace to constables everywhere. That's all I wanted to say tonight.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for not being so obscene as you usually are. I know that you wanted to get back to your family. You're probably going to hit traffic again.
I hate traffic. I'm glad I'm not a traffic cop, because I hate it.
Yeah, I hate it too. So thank you for your insight on today's show. What are you doing?
Well, I just wanted to say Happy Father's Day, Nick.
Oh, why, thank you. Are you a father?
Yes, I'm a father.
Well, happy Father's Day to you, sir. And thank you for being here on the Money in the Bank review and results show. Are you glad I gave you your time?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you again probably tomorrow night, and we're going to get back to you then. Thank you for being here, Constable Corbin Bernson. Thank you guys so much. He asked me to do that. He asked me to come and turn on the camera and allow him a few minutes to air his little bit of a grievance that he had with tonight's show. And I don't blame him. Everything he said was very valid. His points were valid. And I would have let him go on much, much further. But my voice was starting to hurt and my hands were starting to act up. So we were going to let him join us again tomorrow night if you want to see more of the Constable. I'm sure he will have a lot to say following Monday Night Raw's follow-up show to this Money in the Bank, which, like we said, it was not that bad. It was not that bad. However, not having the tag team championships on the card, everything that they did to Asuka tonight, how they just absolutely knocked the luster right off of that character by giving her a straight-up loss to Carmella. I don't give a shit what the consequences or the circumstances rather around the situation is. You brought in James Ellsworth. That's a big selling point. That's what Carmella needs to be money. That just makes her more garbage. I don't want to see this any further. They failed to do what they were supposed to do, which was get that belt from Carmella and around the waist of Asuka and start building towards some meaningful feuds on the SmackDown Live women's division, which is now just a complete, absolute mess. You want to talk about the women's division being a mess, you can absolutely look at what happened at the Money in the Bank match for the women tonight as being an example of how bad WWE Creative actually is and how much they really don't know what the hell's going on. We're going to leave out the fact that they blew it with Natalya. And if you were paying attention and watching the show, you will see that from week to week, the injured leg changed because there's no continuity in this show. Is that the reason why you decided to take all the work and all of the things you were doing with Natty and Ronda Rousey and just absolutely flush it down the toilet? This whole decision absolutely reeks of a last-minute change because the WWE is afraid of something for some reason. I don't know what it is. I love Alexa Bliss. I don't get it. I don't get it. Sure, it's great to give her the accolade. She's the second ever Women's Money in the Bank winner. She made history by cashing it in tonight. Everything that we heard that was going to be rumored, that was rumored to be done by Natty today, seemingly was just given to Alexa on a whim. Maybe Natty is legitimately hurt. Maybe she got hurt somewhere during the match because they seem to disappear at certain points. The Women's Money in the Bank match was great. The girls put out a great effort. And to have the one girl that was in the match that did the least of all the other girls, Alexa, a girl whose previous title reigns have been mediocre at best, and where they relegated her mostly to sitting on commentary talking about the one or two girls that she might be fighting coming up at the next pay-per-view, instead of having her going out there and defending her title and building her up to be a legit champion. They just made her your standard Divas-era bullshit women's champion. Backstage interviews, bullying angles. Nobody wants to see that shit. If that's where they're going to go with Alexa once again in the women's championship, I'm not all about that. While I am extremely happy that the belt is no longer on Nia Jax, and I am satisfied with the fact that they did not jump the gun and pull the trigger on giving it to Rousey right out of the gate in her first match, which looked like it was going to happen. I just don't understand where they're going in the future. And if they're going to go the exact same route that they already had planned with Natty, why was this switch made and given to Alexa Bliss? I just don't understand it. I'm not against it, and the match was great, but that's some shoddy and really inconsistent booking. For weeks we had to see Natty and Ronda Rousey be friends and get involved in this Nia Jax build. For Alexa Bliss to come out on top of everybody who seemingly was a non-entity throughout the entirety of this build? She was off doing something else? Didn't make sense. I wasn't too happy about that. Just like nobody was happy with the boring, trashly Bobby Lashley snooze fest against Sami Zayn. I could care less. I could care less. Does it really matter who won to you? The Bobby Lashley experiment is a brutal failure. Sami Zayn has been dragged down to maybe a non-recoverable level. His stock has plummeted tremendously just by being placed alongside this big heaping pile of trash with no charisma known as Bobby Lashley. I don't know who this Bobby Lashley is. I saw a glimmer of hope in Bobby Lashley. He still was a vacuum of humanity. There was no soul in the man's eyes at all. He just looks like he doesn't care. But at least back in Impact, when he was doing his thing, he gave off that aura that I don't give a shit. So I don't care that you don't see a soul in my eyes. I'm the champion. He was somewhat of a badass doing the Brock Lesnar gimmick. And I know you can't bring that here because we have a Brock Lesnar already. But god damn is he boring. You can't have this guy be a babyface. There is nothing to it at all. Sami Zayn tried his hardest and all he got in return is people not wanting to see his face. That is not fair. He was on the rise once again, and the WWE put him under the hammer and bashed it down. Not fair to Sami Zayn. Not fair one bit. Just like it wasn't fair to anybody in the world to give us a 20-minute long Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal match to nowhere, which led to nothing. You want everybody to believe that Roman Reigns is this big, strong guy that's going to overcome all the odds. He supposedly was the man who was going to beat Brock Lesnar. He's gotten wins over Braun Strowman. He's beaten Samoa Joe. He's beaten everybody en route to last year's WrestleMania. He's supposed to be the most powerful entity in all of the company. And you want Jinder Mahal to rag him around like a rag doll for about 15 minutes of a match for him to come back and win it in the last 2 or 3, a la John Cena, a la Hulk Hogan. That kind of shit don't play anymore. And you put it in front of a Chicago crowd that was absolutely rabid for this match to go on just so that they can shit all over it, exactly like I said they would. There was a small chance that they were going to go for Jinder just to be anti-Roman, but instead they just voiced what all of us were feeling, which is get this match off my screen. The chants that were going on in the crowd throughout the entirety of this match are something to be commended. It was the only reason I actually watched the match was to hear the crowd reaction, because I know you bitches in Chicago were absolutely gonna burn it down, which is something that they did very effectively, very efficiently. The WWE turned the mics down. You could audibly hear it. There is no way that that arena was that hot all night long and then had chants reduced to whimpers during this one match that dragged on and on and on. And we heard chants like, end this match, fuck you Vince. We heard chants of Johnny Wrestling, we want beach ball, Rusev Day, this is awful, boring, NXT. They shit all over this match. We had a full-blown crowd participation wave going on. They were so bored they'd rather play with each other and do a wave around the crowd once the security took away the beach ball, which got the biggest pop of the whole entire match. How is he not hearing this? How are they not adjusting the course appropriately? Why are they still giving us this crap? all for Roman to beat Jinder Mahal like we're gonna give a shit. Did you? Because I certainly didn't. It was worthless. It meant absolutely nothing. Money in the Bank came to us from the Allstate Arena in Chicago. Daniel Bryan and Big Cass kicked off the show after the SmackDown Tag Titles matches, which I missed as well because I was legit in traffic myself on my way home from our Father's Day festivities. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there, if I haven't said it enough already. So I don't know what happened. I didn't look into it because I just don't care. It's an absolute disgrace that they do this to the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. They've been doing it for years. The constable of this show had a very valid point. If you would have taken the 2 or 3 matches that nobody really gave a shit, nobody wanted to see at all, and taken about 5 to 10 minutes from each of those because they were all just a little bit too long, you have enough room during the already existing time slots that are there to have a 15-minute Tag Team Championship match on the main card. During the pre-show, you have Tyler Breeze and what's his name go up against somebody else, or you have a singles match for Ty Dillinger. You know, give us some sort of a showcase match to get some of these guys that don't get on TV. You have them on a pay-per-view. Here, you have a dark match on a pay-per-view. It'll be on the pre-show. You'll be on the network. It'll get you some exposure maybe, and we'll possibly use you in the future. Use it as a tryout spot. Don't use it for Tag Team Championship matchups. Daniel Bryan and Big Cass were definitely much better than I was expecting. They did somewhat of a better job telling this ridiculous story that we've already heard in the ring, and they did it much better than they did at Backlash. So there was really nothing here to point out other than that Daniel Bryan is still over as fuck and Big Cass is absolutely pointless. The push that they gave him is pointless. He has 2 back-to-back pay-per-view losses to Daniel Bryan in tap-out fashion. Big Cass is done. Big Cass has to go back to the drawing board or back to the factory, wherever they're trying to build him up, back down to developmental. You don't have to be back on NXT, but go away for a while and let us forget about this debacle that you called a comeback, and then come back again and try something new in the future. You're not ready for this. The crowd is cold. He's not connecting with the people. Nobody gives a shit about him, good or bad. And if you wanted to play him against the #1 guy in the company, which is undeniable after the reactions that Daniel Bryan gets on a consistent basis, he's going to fail. Because we're not stupid. You treat us like we're stupid when you give us stuff like this, but we want Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. We want Daniel versus Shinsuke, Daniel versus Joe, Daniel versus Miz, obviously. And you're giving us Big Cass? That's totally askewed and nowhere near level on an even playing field. No. Lashley versus Sami Zayn was the second match. Who cares? Who cares? What I did care about was Elias versus Seth Rollins in the Intercontinental Championship match. One of my favorite matchups of the night. Probably one of my favorite matchups of the weekend. Although it did not eclipse anything that happened last night at NXT TakeOver, this match came pretty damn close to what we come to expect from a good wrestling show. And that's what I come to expect every time Seth Rollins is in the ring. Elias definitely brought his A-game to the show. This match was absolutely fantastic. The story they wanted to tell during this matchup was Seth Rollins actually tweaked his knee, and Elias would take the advantage of that. Although he tweaked his knee for a decent amount of time, Seth Rollins did have this match in hand and looked like he was on his way to an easy victory until Elias catches Rollins as he's coming off the ropes through the ropes on the other side to do a tope suicide dive. Elias caught him in midair and rammed him into the announce tables that were right behind him on the outside of the ring. He would then take him and ram him into the ring post. He would then take him again and ram him into the steel steps, throw him into the ring, and then ascend to the top rope to deliver an absolutely picture-perfect Randy Savage Macho Man style elbow from the top rope. That was breathtaking. Absolutely beautiful. I thought we had a new champion at that moment, but that was not the case. And although the knee continued to be an issue for the Kingslayer. The Architect Seth Rollins wins with a surprising roll-up and had to grab a handful of Elias's tights, or pants as it were. He had Elias's belt to gain the advantage and use the leverage against him, and got him in a pretty quick, I wouldn't call it a flash roll-up, but it was a roll-up pin, and he used the tights for assistance, which was surprising, very surprising to see. Not the ending that I was hoping for. I wanted to see Elias crowned as the Intercontinental Champion and give him his first reign with the championship, but that is not the case. Obviously, with what happened tonight in the Money in the Bank match, they do not have Seth Rollins penciled in for plans in the Universal Championship hunt or moving into the main event slot. So taking the Intercontinental Championship away from him right now is probably not what they would want to do. However, if they wanted to extend this rivalry, I'm all for it, because the action we got in the ring tonight between Elias and Seth Rollins, one of the best matchups of the night. And I can't believe I'm going to say this to you, but the women's Money in the Bank match was a fucking great match. You cannot let the fact that the wrong woman won take away the work that the ladies put in to that match tonight. What an entertaining match. Even fucking Lana, at certain points, her selling is awful, her wrestling ability is awful, but she had some entertaining spots in that match. She took some pretty impressive bumps in that match and was coming back for more. The girls were on fire. This girl is on fire. I'm sorry. It was there. I didn't mean to say it, but I had to do it. It just came out. I apologize. All throughout the matchup, speaking of girls that are on fire, straight fire, Becky Lynch was the heavy favorite in the Chicago crowd, as she is a heavy favorite here on this show. And I was very much hoping that the WWE decided to change up things and go with somebody like her. Another very heavy crowd favorite throughout the match was Naomi, and her athleticism took center stage during this Money in the Bank ladder match, as she was doing springboards onto ladders. She was taking bumps that looked like shit, man. If she was a dude, she took that one spot where she was spiked onto the ladder in a split formation, and if she was a dude, she would have been dead. She would have no balls left, is what I'm trying to tell you. She was taking shots that I wouldn't want to take. She is absolutely great at what she does. Also, you know, Charlotte has her backers, Sasha Banks has her backers, and everybody booed like crazy whenever Natalya got anywhere near that ladder. So maybe the WWE all of a sudden decides to go with the knee-jerk reaction, listening to the fans, and not go with Natalya. But if you were really listening to the fans, then Becky Lynch would have won that match. If you wanted to give the fans what they wanted in Chicago on this night. And that's not the case. But this match was fantastic. If you didn't see the Women's Money in the Bank match this year, you definitely missed out, including the surprising ending with Alexa Bliss just coming out of nowhere and pretty much shocking everybody by ripping that briefcase down and becoming our Money in the Bank women's briefcase holder for 2018, albeit not for very long. After this match, we had Kurt Angle backstage. He's yapping it up with Paige. They're talking about, you know, who's going to win Money in the Bank. He's happy that a Raw girl won the Money in the Bank, blah, blah, blah. Then the constable comes in with his shiny bald head and starts talking shit to Kurt Angle, and then Paige puts him right in his place. She's like, listen, you got a new haircut. That's great. Why are you so grumpy, dude? Because you won the Money in the Bank and you failed to cash it in epic fashion? So here we are at Money in the Bank, and you're all like, boo-hoo? And then he turned around, tucked tail, and ran away toward Kurt Angle. Just get it done. And then walked out like a little bitch. Kurt Angle has been an inept retard of a general manager for the last few weeks. He has let Baron Corbin run his show. And then you got little Miss Paigey. Hey, I'm here from SmackDown. Why are you so mean? And the guy runs away. It makes Kurt Angle look stupid too. Just had to throw that out there. These are the things that I see. Yeah, was it entertaining? Was it great to see Paige put him in his place? Absolutely. But this is what I see. Kurt Angle standing there watching. Oh, thanks for standing up for me, Paige. What kind of a retard is he? My God. We talked about Roman versus Jinder and how the fans shit all over it. I really paid barely no attention to it. It was all Jinder. It was all boring. We talked about all the chants that we heard. This match sucks, and this match. The Velveteen Dream was getting chants throughout this match, as well as Johnny Wrestling, like we talked about. Roman wins. Who cares? The crowd popped when this was over because the match was over, not because of who won. They were just glad that it was finally done, as made evident from the chanting that was just going on throughout the entire match. It'll be interesting to see in like a month or two, if you go back and watch Money in the Bank on the WWE Network, if the audio is replaced, since it was so obviously anti-agenda. Asuka versus Carmella, we talked about a little bit too. Too much offense for Carmella. This should have been a quick and decisive win for Asuka, reasserting her to the place where she came from, giving her that quick kill, first strike ability, that real Japanese hard-hitting, strong style that she had. But no, instead we get the WWE painting the picture of Carmella, the wily veteran, the smart, really cagey champion, who comes up with this master plan and actually has the advantage for the majority of the match, making Asuka look completely weak for the most part, only to have an Asuka impersonator show up in a mask, which everybody in Chicago, just like everybody who listens to this show or any other fucking wrestling podcast this week before Money in the Bank, knows James Ellsworth was scheduled to make some sort of an appearance tonight. We knew he was in that suit. It doesn't add anything more to Carmella than the go away factor. Now I want to see you even less. And the fact that they put her over Asuka is a goddamn shame. An absolute shame. They're playing with fire here, and they're making the WWE Women's Division on SmackDown Live look like even more of a joke than Monday Night Raw. And they actually have the most stacked roster. Between the two, SmackDown Live's got the advantage. Monday Night Raw got the briefcase tonight. I still maintain it should have went to one of the girls on SmackDown. I don't know. I just didn't like what they did here. Ellsworth is a fucking joke. And while we're on this topic, why I think it angered me so much is it's one thing for Asuka to react to the thing in the mask, the thing in her mask that's standing in front of her. She don't know what it is. She's got the shock face on, right? She's all like, and there's the guy in the mask, right? We all know who's in the mask, but she don't know who's in the mask, right? But when he takes the fucking mask off, and you see it's the chinless wonder, James fucking Ellsworth, Asuka should have been like, fuck this guy, and turned around and beat the shit out of Carmella and took the fucking title anyway and had the plan fucking backfire, because that's what Ellsworth was good at, having everything that they did backfire on Carmella in the end. And then how are you going to explain the fact that this guy was treated like absolute dog shit trash, and he's willing to come back and help her after she kicked him away so easily on TV, made him look like a fool, dressed his ass up like a dog, and now he's going to be here on fucking TV to help her beat Asuka? Wearing a Mella is Money t-shirt. Is he back for good now with her? Because I was so glad he was gone that now you just made everything 100 times worse. Awful. Fucking awful. Coming down to the nitty-gritty here as we're getting to the World Heavyweight Championship match. My biggest problem with this match is that it did not end the show. Braun Strowman winning the Money in the Bank is not bigger than this feud that they've been trying to build. It's not bigger than the WWE Championship. And I don't understand why this match did not go on last on the show. And you have the Women's Championship for Raw coming on immediately following. So you gave those girls no chance even going in, after they were put through Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles in a last man standing for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. And boy, was this a good one. This was fantastic. Probably the best match the two has ever had. They were given proper time. Their pacing was fantastic. It was a little bit too slow for me on the get-go, and I didn't like how aggressive AJ was being... aggressive Shinsuke was being towards AJ, but he was doing this in a very, very maniacal, very methodical, very slow pace, and I was almost getting bored at the beginning, but then all of a sudden it picked up, and then once it picked up, it didn't stop. At one point, we had Shinsuke Nakamura clearing away all three announce tables, running straight across all three of them, and delivering a Kinshasa to AJ Styles, which was absolutely beautiful. We had a lot of great spots in this match. My other complaint about this match is right from the get-go, they started going for the 10 counts. Now, I don't understand why they do that. The match just started. You take one, you take two shots, and then they're standing there waiting for the ref to count. Like, the match just started. Get on there. Put the work in. Get some shit done. Make him feel pain. They would start to do that eventually, and it did make sense in the end. Another thing I didn't like about this match is the fact that it seemingly put an end to this feud. I can't see how Shinsuke Nakamura is going to get another shot at the championship, nor why would you care about him getting another shot at the championship. The story seems to have come to an end at the culmination of this match when it was over. So, giving AJ Styles a new rival now with only a couple of months leading into SummerSlam, it just doesn't seem to make too much sense. I think with the heat they have here, they could have, even with this win, they can continue this on into SummerSlam and make that be the final encounter. Really build that up to something. Because I feel like they really missed the boat with this feud up until now. They finally got to put a great match on. Full of close calls, high drama, high impact. From 1 minute to the next, you really didn't know if AJ was going to get back to his feet. If Shinsuke was going to get back to his feet. What is each one of these men going to have to do to keep the other man down? At one point, AJ Styles hits Shinsuke Nakamura with a phenomenal forearm from the inside of the ring to the outside. And then throws him into the steel steps. And then would execute a Styles Clash off the top of the steps. And Shinsuke Nakamura got up at like a fraction before the 10. It was very, very beautifully put together. It was a masterpiece for a last man standing match. Probably one of the better ones I have ever seen. There's been some good ones, but this one was very well told, very dramatic. Imagine how much more invested we would be if they actually builded it correctly on the way to this matchup. This is the matchup that should have been at WrestleMania to end this whole thing. But we all know how they screwed that up. We're not going to get into that right now. There was so much that went on in this match. It was hard to keep track of, but there was just too many close calls for AJ Styles. He definitely took a beating tonight. I don't know what it was going to take Shinsuke Nakamura to keep him down. Once he delivered that Kinshasa to him on the outside and AJ Styles still got up, I just couldn't believe that Shinsuke Nakamura was going to win this match anymore. At one point, Shinsuke was so exhausted, he was leaning up against the announce table and he was looking like a zombie from The Walking Dead. He was just like on there, and then he did his little "come on" thing, and then AJ kicked him right in the nuts. It was fucking great. AJ kicked him square in the nuts, and then he would go to do the forearm from the ring to the outside, busting him through the announce table in the process. AJ Styles got up by the count of 8, and Shinsuke Nakamura did not. AJ Styles is your last man standing and remains your WWE Heavyweight Champion of the World in what was the second best match of the night, I believe. Some people are going to put that at number 1, and maybe it does deserve that honor, but I really, really enjoyed the Intercontinental Championship match just a slight tad more than this one. Like I said when we were getting into this match would be followed by a Women's Championship match, which was not as bad as I thought. Nia Jax did not look terrible. But with the way this match ended up, she ended up looking like a goof. You know, her performance with Ronda Rousey was great. She made Rousey look good. Rousey's pretty good at selling. There was a couple of spotty shots that we saw. We had some sort of a judo throw to Nia Jax, which was very impressive, but looked somewhat sloppy and not well executed, and I thought she was going to rip her arm clear out of her socket. We had another move that looked something like a rock bottom, but they weren't sure exactly what to call it, and neither was I when I seen it. Nia Jax delivered a very, very sloppy Samoa drop. You're a Samoan female that's about, 6 feet tall. You should be able to execute a Samoa drop. If you don't know how to do it, call your cousins. They can probably help you out. You got a bunch of them to choose from. You could choose the Usos. You could choose The Rock. I would actually stop right there. I wouldn't call Roman and ask him for advice on anything. But, it's in your blood to be able to do that move. I don't know why she can never execute it properly. And that would lead to Ronda's first kick out. And then Nia Jax would become more aggressive. She would miss with the leg drop. It would give Ronda Rousey the advantage finally, and next thing you know, Alexa Bliss is coming out, cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase. And like we said before, while I appreciate that, is this better than Natty? Yeah, it's better, but at least Natty would have been different. You know what I mean? Is it better than Nia being the champion? Hands down, I would take this over that any day. Is it better than them giving the championship to Ronda Rousey right now? The way all of us are feeling, that this is going to be her first match. She doesn't even deserve the match as it is. She knows herself she doesn't deserve the match. She doesn't even want the match, and then she's going to come out and win the match? It wouldn't have made sense. So going with this at the end of the whole thing didn't really bother me too much. I'm just not sure where they're going. It's very obvious that they have the Ronda Rousey revenge angle that they could play out that was seemingly written for Natalya, and they could just sub her with Bliss, and we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. That is the most surprising moment of the night. It definitely made me pop. I'm an Alexa Bliss guy. I'm happy as a fan of hers, but, as a guy that does this for a living, and I take a step back, and I look and I just go, why? Why her? Why not do something different? But history tells the tale, and the victors get the spoils. And tonight, Little Miss Bliss is spoiled rotten, and I'm alright with it. Just like I'm alright with the men's Money in the Bank match. It was a great Money in the Bank match. The story of this match was being, how do we keep Braun Strowman out of this match, which was pretty much orchestrated by Kevin Owens, as he's been pleading his case to everybody throughout the week and throughout the night tonight in certain segments, giving the New Day a trash bag full of pancakes. I'll let that sink into you for a minute, but it was very entertaining. He brought some Canadian maple syrup, and then he told them he didn't like pancakes, and that he thinks their cereal sucks. And the New Day would kind of freak out on him, and we still did not know who the member of the New Day that was going to take part in the Money in the Bank was going to be at the time. But I did laugh. I think this was probably the best use of the pancakes I've ever seen, since they want to shove them down my throat every single week, metaphorically, through the television screen. This actually didn't get my goat too much, and Kevin Owens, master on the mic, he sold the whole thing. He made it fucking work, just like he did this match. This match was all about everybody trying to get rid of Braun Strowman. They buried him in a pile of ladders, which only led to him coming back to life like the creature from the Black Lagoon coming out of the pond. He's got his arm and his head coming up out of the ladders. Next thing you know, they're trying to attack him again, trying to set him up on a table, trying to put him through shit. Kevin Owens goes to the top of the biggest ladder you ever seen in your life. Braun Strowman ended up meeting him atop that ladder and throwing him right off it, through a couple of tables that exploded with massive force beneath Kevin Owens' big frame, and Kevin Owens would now be a non-issue in the match. Kevin Owens was taken out of the match. All he wanted to do was to take Braun Strowman out of the match, and now he was the one that found himself eliminated from the match. On his way back, Braun Strowman, like a fucking freight train, goes through a ladder, just breaking it in half and taking the two guys that were holding the ladder down with him. Kofi Kingston was the member of the New Day that was in this match, and he was absolutely impressive. He is the senior member of the New Day. He is the one with the most ladder match experiences throughout the three of them. So that's what they figured they would go by, and Kofi Kingston did not disappoint. At one point, he was riding the back of Braun Strowman up the ladder, holding on for dear life as he almost fell off, keeping himself locked tight like a boa constrictor around the waist with his legs around the waist of Braun Strowman. Absolutely a lot of great spots in this match. Rusev looked fantastic. Samoa Joe was an absolute beast. The Miz on many occasions almost weaseled his way up there and won this thing, which is what I wanted to see almost more than anything else. But that would not be the case, as Braun Strowman would make his way up to the top of the ladder and unlatch the briefcase, and he is our 2018 Money in the Bank winner. Like our constable said, what good does it do? You're the Raw Money in the Bank holder now. You can't cash it in on Seth Rollins, and that's the only title around on the show. They don't even use the Tag Team Championships anymore. Raw is a one-title show. Brock's on an extended fucking leave, a super long vacation. Nobody knows if he even has a Universal Championship anymore. Maybe he fucking lost it in an airport somewhere. Has anybody even seen him with it? It's missing in action. So now Braun's got a briefcase. Brock's got to come to work in order for him to use it. And if Brock never comes to work, what good is it for him to have the fucking briefcase? Brock's going to announce, oh, well, I'm going to be here for SummerSlam. He's going to have a match with Roman. Best case scenario, he cashes it in during that match, giving him the Seth Rollins moment that I was hoping for maybe The Miz or Daniel Bryan or somebody else down the line that really elevated him to that next level. Braun Strowman does not need the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's already established. He's already Braun Strowman. And it doesn't really lend to too much unpredictability. Like I said, not just because Brock's not around, and when he is around, everybody's going to assume that Braun is going to cash in. So the best thing they could do is have him cash in at the very next opportunity. The very next time Brock Lesnar steps foot in a WWE arena, he should be dethroned as champion. And you can build towards SummerSlam with Braun as your champion instead. Have the title on Raw. Have him defend the championship along the way at Extreme Rules. Start to bring some life to that championship. You want to keep calling it the #1 championship, but it's never fucking here. It's on a guy who's never here. And when he does wrestle, it's for like 3 minutes tops. That's not what we want in our champion anymore. It was fun in the beginning, but now that it's gone on for over a year now, I'm done with it. We need a championship on our show. And Braun Strowman is the next best thing to an active Brock Lesnar that will be there every single week. An unbeatable monster. An untamable beast. Stop with the smiling and the good times. And let Braun Strowman be Braun Strowman. Let him be the next coming of Brock Lesnar. Or a Big Show. And have it be good and not so flip-floppy. He's already on that trend. Like one week he's cheated, next week he's trying to be a bad guy. And then he's trying to be good, and then he does things that a bad guy does. And your brain's just like, well, I feel like I shouldn't like him, but he's giant and he's awesome. And I love when he screams, Braun! So I'm going to cheer for him. It's kind of caught in the middle. I'm not too upset that he won it. I just really would have preferred somebody else. It doesn't make too much sense, and I don't understand why we have a monster in the bank at the end of this night. We're going to have to tune in tomorrow, see where they go with it. If Brock Lesnar shows up tomorrow night, please, Braun Strowman, cash it in. Just take it away, and let's get this show back on the road. And maybe the fans and people like me will actually give a shit about the Universal Championship, because what does it mean right now? What you can value it as to is maybe what you get for, a handful of beans. It has no value. Time to change that. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this Money in the Bank review and results show on this Father's Day, June the 17th, 2018. Don't forget, if you are not already a member of the Sledgehammer Club, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, because YouTube sucks right now, and if you want to be notified every single time a really awesome video just like this one goes up, this way you don't miss Constable Corbin, you don't miss me, you don't miss Thor, you don't miss Blue. All you got to do is ring that bell. Next thing you can do for me is smash that thumbs up. Take your own little sledgehammers at home and bash that thumbs up. Make it all nice and swollen and red or blue, as the case may be. This way the world knows that you enjoyed this show. I know you enjoyed the show, and I will keep coming at you, swinging this hammer with the fury and the gust of 1,000 winds. Because that's what we do here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Don't forget also to share this video with each and every one of your wrestling friends all over the wrestling world. If you are listening to us on those audio platforms that we all know so well, whether it be iTunes, Stitcher, Radio, or Podbean, baby, make sure that you like us on those platforms as well. Give us 5-star ratings, whatever it is that they ask you to do. Do it! Leave comments, leave me messages. Don't forget to leave the comments in the comment section down below. Follow me on Twitter, at Nick Nightmare is the handle. It's spelled for you right there. Check us out at Facebook, facebook.com. The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show is all one word. You can find us there for all things related to Sledgehammer TV. And most importantly, those of you listening, make sure you get your asses to youtube.com/SledgehammerTV. Subscribe to the channel there, because this show, all our reviews, everything that we do, it always goes up first on YouTube, with the audio versions following as soon as I am able to get them rendered and up and out. But they will all be there, just like I will always be here for you. My name is Nick Nightmare, the host with the most, and with the team that everybody dreams of. Thor, the Sledgehammer, the wrestling god of thunder, and the official sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. I don't know why I turned into a Charlotte Flair robot, but we're going to keep it going. This is my trusty companion, Blue the Snowball Microphone, the world heavyweight champion of all the microphones in all the world. This has been the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, right here on Sledgehammer TV. I love you guys so much. That is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw review right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Not bad, but it should have been so much better. Money in the Bank, Monster in the Bank, Money in the Bliss. Good night.